YouTube! What's up? Lucas here, Fantasy Football Perspective, another video. This one's a special one. Someone reached out to me and asked me to do a mock draft with their settings, see kind of what I would do in their situation. Shout out Tyler, long subscriber for the channel. Yeah, I'm going to do that. That is something that I will do for you guys if you guys want. Send me your league format. I will do the mock draft with your settings, kind of go over what I would do in those situations, hopefully give you some insight kind of into my perspective of the whole thing. And yeah, we'll kind of go from there. League settings, it's a typical redraft league. 1 QB, 2 running backs, but his league does 3 wide receivers, a tight end, a flex position, defense, kicker. These leagues are kind of getting more popular, and I haven't really touched on 3 wide receivers and 2 running backs in just a standard redraft league or PPR redraft league. With these kind of leagues, it kind of raises the value of wide receivers and, just evens the playing field with wide receivers compared to running backs. He is drafting from the 12th spot. So, hey, let's dig in. Let's see what happens. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, please do. Thank you for all the support. Let's do this. All right. Let's dig into this mock draft. Okay, we're drafting from the 12th position. 1 QB, 2 running backs, 3 receivers, 1 tight end, 1 flex. I think he does play with the defense and kicker. I'm going to leave that out of there. I think there's a couple different strategies you can go in this format. These wide receivers, you raise the number of wide receivers to raise the value of wide receivers. Even when you add another receiver, in my opinion, I think it's probably still worth the wait. I think you still try to get your 2 workhorse running backs the first round. But I'm going to do a couple different options. You pick and choose what you think, and I'll try to give you my opinion on what happens. The first time, I think we're going to take 2 workhorse running backs and kind of work back from there. So let's see what happens. Start this draft up. Drafting from the 12th position. Now, I like Aaron Jones. I think that's a steal at that. This one, you kind of get into it. Depending on what you think of health, I personally, just because his ACL is such a risk factor, I would go Jonathan Taylor here. I think he's a little safer. But as you get closer to your draft, monitor Saquon Barkley over the next couple weeks and just see where that is till your draft comes, because I think he could be a steal. All right. So then this is when first thing I would do in this situation, I would see if either Waller or Kittle dropped. They didn't, so tight end's off my board for now. And then I'm either looking, you have 2 options. I would either go receiver, or receiver running back. Lock up your wide receiver 1, then you have 3 workhorse running backs. That choice is up to you. To keep it simple, just so you can see the start of this, I think that I'm going to go receiver. Get this up. Who do I like? If you watch my videos, I like the upside of Chris Godwin, and I like the upside of Deontay Johnson the most. Make your own tiers. Pick the 2 stud receivers you like the most. That's probably what I would do. Starting right there. Comes back down. Five, 12, 6, 1. Right here, I'm seeing if Hawkinson's available. I like the upside of Hawkinson in the 5th and 6th round. That's absolute money position. I mean, listen, he's going to lead that team in targets. No doubt about it. High octane. Gives you a top 4 tight end, locked and loaded, positional advantage each week. And right here is when I'm going to look to see what QBs are off the board. Lamar's sitting there staring at me in the face. Personally, I would take Lamar. Something else you could have done before, though, is instead of, if you're not high on Deontay Johnson like me, you could have taken Amari Cooper there and then locked him in with Dak Prescott. Love all those. All those are good. 12th spot's tricky, but you control the draft. So now you have a positional advantage at the tight end and a positional advantage at a quarterback each week. Right here, I'm probably thinking about getting my third receiver. DJ Chark is my personal favorite on this list. Let's just see if there's anyone else that I like. Still got Corey Davis there. Remember, I'm really high on Corey Davis. If you guys watched my last video. So I'm probably locking in Corey Davis here as my wide receiver 3. And then I'm probably going to go Javonte Williams, and I'll explain why after this. So if you look at research, they actually say that you have a higher likelihood to win your matchup if you play wide receivers in your flex opposed to running backs. So last video too, Marvin Jones a steal. He was a top 20 wide receiver, and he's going into a better situation this year. Lock him in. Take a flyer on one of these other running backs. I like Trey Sermon just as a, I mean, he's your RB4. If he turns out, I mean, you're sitting very pretty. Then we'll kind of take back and look at what we ended with on this first one. I think this one it's going to look pretty nice. So we're at Lamar, Aaron Jones, Jonathan Taylor, Godwin, Deontay Johnson, Corey Davis, TJ Hawkinson, and this would probably be Marvin Jones in my opinion. That's a solid lineup with the 2 RBs. All right, let's kind of restart this, and let's see what happens if we took two receivers in this position. So let's go ahead and lock in Tyreek and Stephon Diggs and just see what happens. Both high upside. Probably locked and loaded top 5 receivers on the year. Again, I'm trying to see if Waller or Kittle drop to the end of the third, because I think that's a lock if they do. End of third value for either of those guys is pretty high. Gives you that positional advantage each week. I love Chris Carson, but can Chris Carson stay healthy? If he's on the field, they're trying to get back to the ground and pound. I think you lock that in. I love David Montgomery without Tariq Cohen on the field. He's a workhorse running back, man. You're getting him in the 4th round. So let's just see what this ends up. Got options here, my friend. All right, kind of the same thing as last time. This is what I'm seeing if Hawkinson's available. He is, which probably means Lamar's available. He is. I like Jerry Jeudy and Tyler Boyd here. I might lock them both up here. Really clear out that wide receiver room. Stacked. Looking pretty. Still getting a little backup depth right there. See if there's any other running backs that I like. No one's really sticking out. So if I could redo it, I would either taken Jeudy or Boyd and got to see what other running backs were there. But yeah, that's option number 2. Let's do one more option. Third option is taking a running back and taking a receiver. So let's lock in Aaron Jones. Let's lock in Tyreek Hill. Let's just change it up just a tad and see what happens. This time let's lock in Godwin. Let's lock in Carson again. Let's see what happens here. Miles Sanders dropping. That's pretty crazy. And let's say you're not as in love with Hawkinson as I am. Let's say you are, actually. Let's say we want some more depth. I'm really not going to reach on any of these guys, to be honest with you. I think they all have decent upside, but I think you're going to get about the same value with players in the next round with Jones and Corey Davis. So let's get another receiver. I'm getting higher on Henderson as it gets closer to the draft. And let's lock up your QB. Let's get Lamar Jackson. Let's shore up our running back room. Let's wait on tight end and just see what happens. So you got Judy. I think he was kind of that same tier as Tyler Boyd as before. Got Noah Fant. I think we can even wait on this again now. Let's lock in another receiver that we like. Let's put DJ Chark. He should get his. Don't love him as much. In a real draft, I probably would have taken Corey Davis there. He just wasn't showing. Let's lock in Marvin Jones. So now you got that whole backfield. Instead of DJ Chark, I probably would have taken Corey Davis there. He just wasn't showing. Let me repeat that. If we're looking at tight end, you still got Noah Fant staring at you in the eyes. Let's take him. Top 6, top 7 tight end. Pays off to wait. And then you got, let's see what's going on here. So this is what we're looking at with this. You got Aaron Jones, Tyreek, Godwin, Carson. The first one we had Aaron Jones, Jonathan Taylor, Deontay Johnson, and I can't remember who the last receiver was. And then, might have been Godwin actually. And then the second draft we had Tyreek Hill, Stephon Diggs, Carson, Montgomery. Can't really go wrong. Even though that there's another wide receiver spot, I think it's pretty important to lock into workhorse running backs that you personally believe in. They just go off the board so quick, and then you're kind of picking between the Carsons, Montgomerys. They're just riskier picks, and you still are able to get, Godwin, Amari Cooper, Robert Woods, all in the 3rd and 4th round that I would be comfortable putting out there on a weekly basis. And it's just a little bit more risk with the Carsons of the world, the J.K. Dobbins of the world, the Miles Sanders of the world. So I'm still leaning towards drafting 2 RBs if the right ones go. Obviously, if it's RB off the board the first couple picks and you're stuck with I don't know, the big teardrop, let's say after there's even Gibson goes in the first one, I'll say it's super wide or running back heavy. Then it might be in your best interest to go Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill, but kind of zig when everyone else is zagging. That's my advice. Go crush your league. I think you're going to do the right thing. I'd say 60-70% of the time I'm going RB in this kind of situation because there's just so many wide receivers to be found. That's going to add value to your team when you got Marvin Jones and Corey Davis, potential wide receiver ones on their own team, getting drafted in the 10th and 12th round. So just wait. All right. I hope this helps you. Go win your league. Represent, baby. YouTube, if you haven't hit that subscribe button, please do. If you want me to do this for your league, kind of give you my opinion on what I would do, hey, shoot me a Instagram message, shoot me a Facebook message, do your thing, drop a comment even on this video. We'll kind of go from there. Hope you all have a great day. Peace.